for both. What steps has Ameren taken to include solar, wind, and other geothermal energy into their future energy mix? What other steps could they or should they have taken?
If I understand the question, what steps has Ameren taken to include solar and wind in our portfolio, basically?
Right.
Well, Ameren currently has contracts for 102 megawatts of wind energy. We just recently built a large solar test array in our general office building in St. Louis. I believe it's about 100 kW. Uses 3 different types of technologies and also a tracker technology. So we're evaluating the performance of those technologies in preparation for the renewable Prop C bill, which requires Ameren to get 50% of our power by 2020. And we're looking at those technologies to try to understand what would be the best value. I believe 2% of that has to be from solar. And so we're evaluating those technologies to see what would be the most appropriate technology to choose.
Did you have anything to add to that?
By the way, our test facility there at the office building shows at least almost all those technologies are putting out about 15% capacity factor for the solar arrays.
I can't really speak to what Ameren plans on doing, but I can speak to what Ameren has done. And that goes back to the last slide of my original presentation, when Ameren has aggressively worked the state legislature, which they hold an extreme amount of power over, to undermine the Prop C rules that Mr. Bond just mentioned. Instead of sourcing in and around Missouri renewable energy, Ameren used their legislative muscle to basically, like I said, undermine those rules to allow renewable energy credits. They've also undermined but energy efficiency legislation. So, there's General Electric expects solar panels to be cheaper. The same people that built our first fleet of nuclear reactors in this country are now saying that solar panels that they're going to be producing in this country are going to be cheaper than cheaper than fossil fuels and nuclear power in the next 5 to 10 years. If Ameren doesn't need baseload power for 20, which they've admitted through their integrated resource plan, maybe we can wait for those prices to come down while not putting all of our bets on really expensive nuclear power.
Hi, it was my question, and one of the things that's in there that I guess was a little hard to read. I was also interested in what Ameren was doing, if anything, in terms of planning to use powers like cogeneration. And I was curious also. I've been reading about General Electric's work in the solar area also, and now they're even talking about being able to do to match costs with fossil fuels and nuclear within 3 to 5 years. Why isn't there even a bigger part of the future mix for you? I guess that question is supposed.
As part of our integrated resource plan, we evaluate all those technologies. And we evaluate them from a perspective of what is a credible scenario for the future. We have an obligation, both professional and legal, to keep the lights on. So I think that constrains us to what kind of risks we can take with your electrical reliability. Our current resource plan doesn't show solar as being, it's the highest cost right now of any of those technologies. And we keep confusing, I think, intermittent sources of power like solar and wind with baseload power, which needs to run 24/7, 365.
I would like to respond to that. Nuclear power certainly does not run 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They shut down for weeks for refueling, and there have been several instances this year alone for emergency shutdowns, or what are called SCRAMs, based on natural disasters. We've had Hurricane Irene shut down nuclear reactors, we've had tornadoes, we've had flooding, and we've had earthquakes. In any given instance, instance, when a natural disaster occurs, nuclear power is not going to be there to support the base load power that they promised to deliver. So in the case of a natural disaster like in Japan, you're going to have a natural disaster, possibly, if you're lucky, compounded with just no electricity, but at the worst with a major nuclear incident, and you're going to have to compound the loss of life from a disaster with loss of life in the future from radiation poisoning.
I might add that our nuclear power plant fleet since 2004 has run between 89 and 92% of the time. That is, if I ran perfectly and never shut down ever, I'd be at 100% capacity factor. We've run 89 to 92%. It's the highest in the world.
That's not 7 days a week, 365 days a year, though, right?
We do shut down for refueling every 18 months.
Right. So
We're going to need to move on. Mr. Smith?